Hi, this is the video blog for the third day of the Edu675 course, and I'll be looking at what we did today on Wednesday. Or a basic recap. Now, the first thing that we're looking at, or that made relevance to me, was the model of TPAC. Now, my understanding of it as it stands today is it's a Venn diagram that looks at the effectiveness of technology and the use of it within your classroom, and it's like a tool to give you a level of justification as to why you would use technology for its real use as opposed to just using it for technology's sake, because my understanding is that a lesson needs to be, well, from experience anyway, a lesson, if it gets confused because of the technology, then the technology isn't going to be worth it. TPAC, as I said, Venn diagram. You've got your two main, your first two bubbles. The first one is your content knowledge, second one is pedagogical knowledge, and your third one is your technology. And the technology, I think the main concept of that is that you've got your content and your pedagogy, but the technology just has to overlay. It doesn't have to do more than that, but it has to be used as a tool. It can't be the answer. And you can't just have a lesson without that content, without those effective pedagogical strategies, and just have a bit of technology. Otherwise you're wasting your time. Now, the other bit that we were looking at today was the third part of the R2D2 model, which was the display, which focuses primarily on your visual learners. And I think that is something, I will get to that later when I start responding and relating to it, but I can see, yeah, you basically, for your visual learners, you've got your diagrams, your flow charts, and anything that's visual that can be remembered as a snapshot in your brain's way of thinking. We looked at the Ken Robinson School's Kill Creativity TED Talk, which I've seen before many times, and that I feel, well, I'll actually respond to that one later in terms of how I feel about that talk. It didn't actually teach anything new, so I'll talk about my response to that. And then we looked at smartboards being an available piece of technology, as well as issues of copyright, which I found absolutely fascinating. In terms of my responses to these learning moments that happened yesterday, I've got to say that, as you can see, I'm looking at notes. I'm responding in a 21st century way, yet I still need pen and paper to clarify my thoughts, and I reckon that creates a bit of a divide between your 21st century learners and your teachers, because I still need pen and paper, but I can't move away from that. It's what I'm used to, and so I need to just be aware of that, I guess. In terms of TPAC, I'm a little bit confused, I'll be honest. That model, I don't get its functionality yet. I don't get how to create this notion of looking at the different elements, whether it be the actual middle of the Venn diagram, which is the TPAC moment, or whether you're looking at the intersection between content knowledge and pedagogical knowledge. And yeah, I think that I understand the framework, but tonight I'm going to have to go to the website. I was shown a website today, and I have to research that a little bit further. Visual learning. Now, the third stage in the R2D2 model, the display, I get more than anything because I am a visual learner. And so I think that the way you learn is the way that you teach. And I feel that I do quite well with the visual learners, but it's the reading, the doing, and the reflecting learners I don't allow for when looking at the technology or the pedagogy that I should be using. So that's something that I think that I need to focus on the next forever, I guess, while I'm a visual learner, so that it can be more effective to more students. Ken Robinson's speech, I feel, is it's been written by an intellect who has this broad sweeping notion, but the reality of the situation when we're dealing with government bodies, when we're dealing with parents, and when we're dealing with workforce, despite the fact that they want their employees to be creative, they still want them to have a good basic knowledge of the more traditional subjects which, based on what Ken Robinson is saying, form that hierarchy that pushes down creativity. So I love what he's saying. I think it's great. But if I can make the analogy, I feel it is like communism. It's a great theory. In practice, it doesn't work, or would be very difficult to make it work. Smartboards. I was amazed. I am genuinely amazed by this. After seeing the that's my child. After seeing the Apple presentation, smartboards are obsolete. And all you need is an iPad 2, Apple TV, and you're looking at, okay, brand new iPad 2, best one you can get is $1,000. Apple TV is $130. So for $1,130, there's my maths, you've replaced a $5,000 smartboard. So why would you get it? Why would the government spend a lot of money on smartboards and schools spend a lot of money on smartboards when there is new technology that's coming out that's far superior in its practicality? So I actually found that smartboard presentation I was like, oh, this is old tech, this is not new. I would never use this because there are better products out there. Even when you're looking at that maths one, sure, that was pretty cool because you could move it on the board, but you could do that on an iPad. The second bit where she was showing us the unit about human and animal rights, helped create an iBook based on that PowerPoint presentation, or use a PowerPoint, which essentially that was. So I found that a little bit, I've got to be honest, it didn't work well for where we are in this course, or where my comfort level is. The copyright, I guess, I found that interesting, but again, I guess I look at everything with a practical point of view, and the practicality of that was, yeah, sure, I break copyright on a daily basis, but I've never gotten in trouble for it. As long as I'm aware of it and I'm prepared to change, I'll do that. The Creative Commons licenses was interesting, and I think I need to research that a little bit further. So that is basically my report on what happened today, the responses and the emotional responses that I had from them as to why I'm reflecting on them now, and its relation to some aspects of my school practice.